Hello and welcome to your show, Your Conestoga Today. I'm your host, Mamuzo. You know it's always a delight to have you join us, and today we do have a special episode for you. Now, healthcare is constantly evolving, and healthcare research isn't an abstract concept confined to journals and labs as we thought it was. It has become a connecting force that pulls lived experiences, real data, and insights that broadens how we treat and care for ourselves as a community. When research is collaborative and community centered, its impact is widespread. It becomes not just a scientific inquiry, but a shared experience that includes patients, practitioners, learners, and community partners working together toward better care. At Conestoga College, the Center for Healthcare Research and Innovation brings together interdisciplinary expertise to address health system challenges in ways that are practical, people-focused, and deeply rooted in community needs. By partnering with healthcare organizations, faculty, students, and community members, the center strengthens care systems and contributes to meaningful change. To discuss the impact of the CHCRI as an intersection of research, community, and education is Dr. Catherine Tong. Don't worry about the big words here. We'll dissect everything for you. Dr. Catherine Tong is a senior researcher at Conestoga Center for Healthcare Research and Innovation. As a highly respected scholar with deep expertise in aging, home, and community care, and culturally responsive research design, Dr. Tong's work elevates voices often overlooked in traditional research, especially racialized and foreign-born older adults. Her commitment to community-based methods and multilingual research ensures that discoveries are not just academically rigorous, but accessible and relevant to the people they aim to serve. Now, that was a mouthful, but I tell you something, I did look you up.
Oh,
yes.
That's okay.
Good to have you on the show, Dr. Catherine.
Yes,
Tong.
thanks.
Oh. So how are you doing? First and foremost, I mean, it's winter, it's cold, I feel frosty or frosted.
Yeah.
How are you?
Great, thanks. Thanks for having me.
Okay, your smile warms the room, so I feel
Oh my
comfortable.
gosh, you too.
Okay, let's dive right into today's conversation. We're looking at healthcare and how the work we do here at Conestoga can impact our community. And to start off, what exactly is the community of healthcare research and innovation all about, and how did it start, and why is it important for us to have such a space within the community here at Conestoga?
Yeah, thanks. We're at the Center for Healthcare Research and Innovation, and about 2 years ago, we decided to start a community for healthcare research. So as you were saying in your intro, research, people used to think of research as, you go do an experiment and you publish a paper, but we know it's so much more than that. It has to be grounded in community. So really, we wanted to shine a light on all the amazing healthcare research happening here at Conestoga. We're one of the top 20 research colleges in the country, and I don't think a lot of students know that. So it's a space and opportunity to champion that we're not just trainers and educators, we're also researchers here at Conestoga. And we chose the word community really intentionally. It's not meant to be like a lecture or a class. It's meant to be a space where people can come in and talk about healthcare research and get excited about healthcare research together. So it's open to everyone. We do it online, and we've tried it in person, but because we have healthcare students, across Southern Ontario, we chose to do it online just to make sure that everyone who wanted to join could join. So we meet 4 times a term, so every month.
Okay, so I'm glad it's not it doesn't have an academic structuring to it.
No.
So in other words, you can come in and have informal conversations around healthcare concerns and ask questions and get your questions answered.
Exactly. So we organize each month around a particular topic, but some of the best sessions we've had is when we just open the floor and ask attendees, usually students, what do you want to know about healthcare research? And they bring awesome questions. And because our team, we're healthcare scientists, we've got physicians from other countries, we've got nurses, kinesiologists, I'm sure I'm forgetting someone fabulous. We've got students from software engineering and health informatics. So all these different people think about healthcare in a very different way. So it's really fun to have those conversations.
Yeah, and it makes the
Yeah.
conversation really diverse, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
And I want to believe that when we come into that space, students do not just take back with them answers to their questions, but they also take with them skill sets that they can use in their day-to-day lives, maybe clinical practices, leadership roles, etc. Could you spotlight some of those things that they learn when they come into your sessions?
Yeah. Thanks for asking that question, because we don't want it to be just like something you would get in a textbook or, replicating what you're already doing in class. It's meant to be different. So students do get a co-curricular record. So if they come to at least 2 sessions in a term, we take attendance. And if they come to 2 sessions, they get a co-curricular record. So it's going to be on your transcript, showing your future employers that you were interested, A, that you were excited to go out and do something beyond your studies, but B, that you specifically were interested in healthcare research. But beyond that, when we started this community in 2024, we were just coming out of the pandemic. A lot of our students, and us too, we'd all been stuck kind of alone, lonely behind screens. So we really wanted a space where people can come in, a safe space, where people can come in and ask questions and just chat and ask the dumb question, which is never a dumb question, and share your opinions. I remember when I was a student, you'd be in a big room and do I put my hand up? Don't I put my hand up? Do I put my hand up?
Those moments.
And so we try to create like a safe space for students to practice the speaking, the listening, the critical thinking, the being brave enough to share your opinions or ask the dumb question. So that's another skill that we give students.
I love it.
Yeah.
And how does the center ensure that students' lived experiences, stories, and maybe opinions, shape the overall picture of what you're building here for the college as well as for the outside world?
Yeah, that's great. So yes, at the beginning of every term, we ask students, what do you want us to talk about? Like this is for you. It's meant to meet your needs and your interests, and every term is going to be different, right? So we ask students, what do you want us to talk about for the next 4 months? In the past, students have asked to talk about research on mental health, research on how do we get healthcare to remote and rural places, chronic disease management, and more practical things like how do I publish my work? How do I publish a research paper?
I really love the collaborative power that this generates because you're not just speaking from a particular group of people. You have broadened, the group to include students, educators, healthcare professionals, and so you have this, beautiful mix of people coming together to share our thoughts and ideas. And now my question is, how does this really strengthen, healthcare research in the college? And of course, I want to believe that when you take these learnings from these people, you do something with it. So what's the next step after the sessions?
Yeah. Okay. So why do we do this? So healthcare, we're closely attached to the School of Health and Life Sciences. But if you zoom out and think about the college, healthcare is everywhere. If you're in childcare, if you're in culinary arts, if you're in the trades and you're thinking about how to keep your future team safe, all of that has a healthcare element. So it's really important and exciting to bring together people from across the college to be thinking about health more broadly. It also helps us. So we do healthcare research at the Center for Healthcare Research and Innovation. And one of our big focuses is workforce transition. So preparing learners to go out and work in the real world. So if we're meeting with students, talking to students, hearing about their pain points, hearing what matters to them, hearing what's tricky for them, we really do center our research around what we're hearing from students. So they take something away from it, but it's also helping shape our future work at the center.
So I know you mentioned earlier that you have 4 sessions every semester. And so for this semester, you had 1 session on the 28th of January, 1 happening February 19th, 1 March 18th, if I'm correct. I hope I didn't switch the dates. Yeah, I'm correct.
Yes, you got it.
I've got a good memory.
You're good.
And of course, April 9th. Yes. So can you give us a glimpse into the focus areas of the conversations you're going to be having with the students and how it impacts them, how it impacts them and academic work here at the college?
Yeah. Well, what's fun is that all the topics for the rest of the term are from the students, what they've asked in the past that we focus on. So in February, there's one of our clinical training specialists, Erin. She is a registered nurse and a registered kinesiologist who brings more than a decade of experience in primary care, helping people navigate those tricky chronic diseases. So students had asked for a session on chronic disease management and all the new research that's coming out on chronic disease management and prevention. So that's a neat one because it's about research, it's about emerging cutting-edge research, but it's also very practical. We all want to know what to do to live our best, healthiest lives. And then the one in March, will be Dr. Amy Matheru's on our team. She has a PhD in aging, health, and well-being. She's done research, in lots of different areas of health, bodybuilding, long-term care. She's done it all. And she's going to talk to students about how to read healthcare research articles critically. So healthcare research has just exploded, and there's thousands of papers coming out every week. But with that, there's some good and there's some bad, right?
Yeah.
So how do we understand what to trust? How do we look for quality? And then how do we interpret those papers? Some of them are really tricky to get the so what. So Amy's going to do a session on that. I think that's something that a lot of programs start in school, but we're going to do a bit of a deeper dive on that. And then the last session really relates to your opening comments about healthcare research needing to be grounded in community. So I'm going to do a session on co-design. Co-design, so we used to do healthcare research, and it would be like the doctors would be like, I think we need to do this, and then we'll do it, and then we'll publish it in an academic journal, and nothing really comes of it sometimes. And there's this new idea that you should never be doing healthcare research for people without them. Mm-hmm. So the co-design process is going to work with, those eventual patients who might benefit from something to understand what do you need, and we work backwards from there to create research with them. So we're going to talk about the co-design process, how it's exploded, and how to do it well. So I've done a lot of that with Ontario health teams and clinics and hospitals and patients. So just excited to share with students this new way of thinking about doing research kind of backwards. This wasn't my work, but it was a friend of mine. A really good example is pain researchers. Pain researchers were really focused on, how it impacts your work or how it impacts your physicality. And then people from that community said, actually, one of the toughest things for us is how pain impacts our personal lives and our intimate lives, and no one is researching that because no one's ever asked us. So it's kind of flipped the script. Yeah, so that'll be in April.
And I like that you're taking such a deep dive into, lived experiences, because now we're not just, hanging on to theoretical learnings. Absolutely. We're getting experiential learning too, because now students are part of the conversation and they're getting, knowledge, and they're shaping their own futures in these respective careers. I know you already answered this question, but I just want to throw a little more light into this. For those who are entering into the healthcare fields, public health and what have you, what are those critical areas they need to focus on to be relevant in the future? Because healthcare, as we say, is constantly evolving.
You're absolutely right. And I wanted to go back to one of your earlier questions about how students are involved. We also have student presenters. So some of the students who've worked with our team do their own presentations. Christiana, who's part of our team, she's been with us for more than a year. So once she got a little comfortable, she's like, I'd love to do one. And she did a presentation on neuroplasticity and all the ways we're learning about how these tracks in our brains can be molded and shaped and changed. We can change the tracks in our brains. So she did a wonderful job. So students get practice presenting and learning about new things, sharing complex information with different audiences. I think the other really important thing that this community does and that our center does is bringing people from those different disciplines, because healthcare roles are constantly shifting and evolving. Respiratory therapists, their scope of practice might change a little bit, or the paramedics need to know how to work with the respiratory therapists, or the paramedics now are doing a ton of aging care, helping people with dementia. So they need to know how to work with other professions to best provide care. So students really need time and opportunity and practice to know, what do other healthcare professions do? How do I work with them? How do they think? Different healthcare professionals think differently about things. So just having that opportunity to connect with other healthcare professionals to understand how they think, what they do, what their role is, that's like a critical professional skill. And they're going to start that earlier with us, because they're going to do it when they're here at the college, and that's going to carry them throughout their careers.
I love it. And one thing I've said to myself is, rather than complain about something, try to fix it. So for those who are aiming to maybe contribute to what you're doing, share your thoughts around what you're doing, how can they be part of what you're doing on a long term?
Yes. So please join us. I know you're going to put our email on the screen.
The email should be on the screen for sure.
So please, if you want to be part of this community, you can go ahead and you can email CHCRI at conestogac.on.ca. Fire us an email, and we'll invite you to all of our future community meetings for the rest of the term. And oftentimes we've had students who stuck with us, like I said, for more than a year. Some of them have come to work with us. Some of them have done research with us. So it can be a longer term relationship as well.
And just because I'm curious, I would like to know, is this opportunity open to everyone or just only Conestoga students and employees?
That's such a fun question because I maybe would have said no before, but once we had one student invite a whole group of his friends who were healthcare providers. We had a lady call in from England. So yeah, it's open to obviously the Conestoga community, and we would love to see more folks from outside of health and life sciences. We love our health and life sciences, but like I said, health touches pretty much all
Every
of the
area of our
departments
lives.
here.
Yeah.
So please join us.
Now, looking ahead, what excites you most about the future of community health, or should I say healthcare research?
Healthcare research. I mean, healthcare research is changing so fast. AI, I know everyone's probably sick of talking about AI already, but AI has changed how we do everything. You can use AI to clean your data, to do your lit reviews for you, to analyze your data, to analyze big data sets, to predict health outcomes. But tucked into that's a lot of really interesting practical and ethical considerations. So that's a conversation we're constantly having with our students, is weighing how fast things are moving with, giving people the best care, protecting their privacy. There's so many interesting considerations there. So that's exciting because we know there's lots of opportunity there. And we really want to continue having those conversations with students so that when they're out in the field, tucked in the back of their mind, they can reflect on some of the things we talked about: privacy, ethics, best quality care.
And that is a good way to end this conversation. It's been great speaking with you, Dr. Catherine Tong of the Center for, you have a long name, CHCRI. Yes, that's the name. Thank you so much for speaking with us today on the show. And yes, we have learned a little more about the community of healthcare research and innovation here at Conestoga College. I mean, I know the collaboration is powerful. It drives progress. And so do not sit back and say, well, this is not my thing. If you feel any sense of belonging here, you want to join this team and make your own contributions, or perhaps find out how to make or support the initiative here at the college. Thank you very much again for speaking with us, Dr. Tong.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Awesome. We will be right back after the short break with Rewind. Stay tuned. See you soon. Welcome back. A good story never gets old. Let's take you back to some gold old stories curated by students of our Creative Industries School. On this episode of Tri-City It, Ryan Drury, a brave student from Conestoga School of Creative Industries, took on what can only be described as a legendary eating challenge, the Behemoth Burger at Smokey Tony's Barbecue. This isn't the average sandwich you're familiar with. We're talking about layers of smoky, slow-cooked goodness, stacked high, packed with flavor, and unapologetically massive. Smokey Tony is known for bold flavors and comfort food done right, and at Behemoth Burger lives up to the hype.
Hey everybody, welcome to the very first episode of Tri-City Eats. I'm Ryan Drury, and we're here to tackle our first eating challenge of the season. It's going to be the Barbecue Behemoth. And it's a beautiful day here in Waterloo, which means it's a great day for eating a ton of food. We're going to tackle this here at Smokin' Tony's Barbecue. Follow me inside. Hey everybody, so here we are inside Smokin' Tony's Barbecue, and I'm here with Lucas.
Hey, Ryan.
And Tony.
Hi, Ryan.
The co-owners of Smokin' Tony's Barbecue, and they're going to take me through how we make this Barbecue Behemoth sandwich. Isn't that right, Tony?
That's right, Ryan. Let's go to the back, and I'll make the sandwich for you.
Absolutely. Let's see how this is done. All right, here we are in the kitchen of Smokin' Tony's, and Tony's going to take us through everything that goes into the Barbecue Behemoth. Where do we start?
Absolutely, Ryan. We first start with a nice piece of bread. In this case, it's half a loaf. It's a rosemary focaccia bun. Then what we would do is we take our beef brisket, put anywhere from 13 ounces to a pound of beef brisket. We put a little of our hickory sauce on top of that, followed by a layer of cheese to break up the two meats. Then what we do is we add, again, close to a pound of pulled pork.
Wow.
Add a little bit of the sweet sauce, gives it a nice combination and balance. And then to top it up, what we do once the meats are in place, we add the sauteed onions, And then what we do is we get our signature coleslaw, top it on top to give it that full flavor and amazing taste that you would expect from Smoky Tony's.
Absolutely, it looks amazing, and I expect nothing less than a killer eating challenge here at Smoky Tony's. The Behemoth, it's up next.
So the rule is you have half-hour time limit. We have the timer here for you. You can't go to the washroom. You can't leave your seat. All the fries have to be polished off. All the sandwich has to be polished off. Are you all set?
Yeah.
All right, good luck.
Thanks for having us. Here we go.
You know what, I was worried this was gonna be easy. Today, I cut it in 5, I had a piece and a bit of fries and I was kind of full. I'm a big eater.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that brings our first challenge on Tri-City Eats to a close. I'm Ryan Drury. Thanks to Smoky Tony. Thanks for letting us try this Barbecue Behemoth. It kicked the hell out of me. Maybe you can defeat it. That's it for Tri-City Eats.
Killer eating challenge? Well, don't sweat about it, Ryan, because no average human being can consume that much food all at once. Hitting the gym during winter is a good way to stay active, but if you want to bump up your fitness experience, Michael Reddycup advises that you get up, go out, and get active playing paintball. Paintball may feel like a modern thrill sport, but its roots actually go back to the early 1980s. Over now to Michael.
Hey guys, I'm Michael Reddycup. We're standing outside the paintball arena here in downtown Kitchener, but it's getting pretty cold. So we're gonna go on inside and see what it's all about. Make sure you get up, get out there, and get active. The evolution of the game paintballing originated in the late 1970s when the Nelson Paint Company developed gas-operated guns to mark trees for removal. Today it's grown into a worldwide sport with tournaments ranging in many different game types. So I'm here with Mike from the paintball arena. How are you?
Not too bad, yourself?
Excellent. So first things first, what are the main differences between indoor paintball and outdoor paintball?
With the indoor paintball, it's pretty much just basically fast-paced. You have a small area, more strategy. With outdoor, it's more of just like long-distance shooting, bigger paces, and just more of like the outdoor equipment like cars and stuff like that. We have more of like the housing and just speedball, and we have a castle and stuff like that. And it's just basically more just like a strategy-wise thing. We're just gonna play a team elimination. So pretty much there'll be 2 teams. You'll have your red team, and then you'll have your dark team, and pretty much it's just gonna be a street fight elimination. One team starts up there, one team starts on here. Pretty much they only go through the one street and attack each other.
How about we go inside and see what we can do in there?
Sounds good. Is everybody ready?
And that was our time at the paintball arena. Thank you very much, Mike, for going through the instructions and let me know what it's all about.
I know, sorry I hate you so many times.
Oh, no worries. I'll be back to get you a couple times.
I'll see if that happens.
All right. And I'm Michael Reddycup for Get Out There.
In our next story, Alex Lennox takes us straight to a landfill site to unpack a question many of us rarely stop to think about. What really happens to our waste, and what does it mean for the environment? Through this report, though the report was originally covered several years ago, its message is still as relevant, even more today. As communities grow and consumption increases, landfills continue to play a critical role in waste management and environmental protection. Alex explores how modern landfill sites are carefully engineered systems designed not just to store waste, but to protect surrounding soil, water, and ecosystems.
Hi everyone, my name is Alex Lennox, and on this week's episode of Make a Change, we are going to teach you what a landfill actually does for our environment. So today we are going to teach you exactly what they do at a landfill, how they are reducing the amount of waste that actually goes to the landfill, and how you can do that too. So let's head over there now and find out how we can make a change.
I'm a project manager for waste management at the region of Waterloo. Waste management in the region of Waterloo is responsible for curbside collection of garbage, blue box material, and green bin material from all of our residents. We also run a landfill here at our site in Waterloo region, a major transfer station in the city of Cambridge, and rural transfer stations in the 4 rural townships.
Could you tell us the difference between a landfill and a dump?
A dump is a misnomer. A dump refers to, in the past, when people would just dig a hole in the ground and dump their garbage. A landfill is a very high-tech hole in the ground. There's a lot of technology that goes into mitigating potential environmental impacts at our landfill. So we have a liner in place to protect groundwater. We have a leachate collection system to collect any runoff, moisture runoff from the garbage. We have a gas collection system to collect the gas that's generated by the material in the landfill as it breaks down. We have a lot of controls in place to try and reduce the impact that the landfill has on the environment. The City of Kitchener had the first residential recycling program started back in 1983. Niall Ludoff is the gentleman who's generally credited as the father of the Blue Box program. However, we have done some curbside waste audits where we collected garbage bags and went through them to see what's still in the waste stream. And we discovered that in the average bag, about another 50% could still be going into our green bin program. So residents are all very familiar with the Blue Box program and doing a great job of participating. It's been in place for a number of years and it's very successful. The green bin has only been in place across the region of Waterloo since 2010. It's a fairly new program, but we're seeing our numbers increase with that, and we'd like to encourage residents to do what they can to try and divert more material through the green bin. So feed the soil, not the landfill. We're actually currently working on a new waste management master plan because we do believe that there's about 15 to 20 years left of capacity at this current site. So the waste management master plan is looking at what we'll do with our garbage in Waterloo region once the landfill is full.
So there you have it. We've given you the proper information you need to make good recycling choices. So it doesn't seem too hard, right? Next time you see a piece of cardboard, plastic, can, bottle, anything on the ground, pick it up and learn how to properly recycle it. Honestly, one person can make a difference for our environment, and that change starts with you. I'm Alex Lennox, and this is Make a Change.
The story also highlights an important reality. While landfills are necessary, they're not a long-term solution. The environmental impact of waste challenges us to think differently about what we throw away, how we recycle, and why reducing waste at the source is expedient. At a time when sustainability, climate responsibility, and environmental innovation are front and center, this story reminds us that when we toss something in the trash, think about where they end up. And yes, don't fill our landfills. And that's our package for you today. Thank you for joining us on Your Conestoga Today. I am your host, Mamuzo, wishing you a warm and cozy weekend, and I hope to see you next time on the show. Until then, bye-bye.